Hello, found footage fans, and welcome to We Found a Tape.
Tape Talks.
Welcome to Tape Talks, a special new series from We Found a Tape. Here we sit down with directors, filmmakers and cinematographers to deep dive into the creative process behind found footage filmmaking, from writing and shooting to the journey of bringing these unique stories to life. Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of Tape Talks presented by We Found a Tape. We're joined today by esteemed filmmaker of some classic found footage horror films such as To Jennifer, Hate Crime, and also one of the first ever action found footage movies that I'd seen, which is The Workout. Welcome everyone to James, Cullen, Bressack. Thanks for taking the time to join us today.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for having me, and also apologizing in advance if you hear any snorts or snoring. It's this guy. He is just chilling here on my lap, and he's refused to get off. So, audience members, do not question snoring.
Definitely not. No. We welcome Meatball as well. A very important and esteemed guest. We appreciate him as well.
He's the brains behind the operation on my end.
Brilliant. But yeah, I mean, you've had such a great career of filmmaking. A lot of action films, a lot of varying different styles in terms of horror movies. What were really some of your main influences to start getting into filmmaking, and specifically genre filmmaking?
Oh man, like I was that kid growing up that, like, if a movie was banned or like really violent, like I wanted to see it. So like, like if it was out of print, I was saving up and buying it on Amazon, so like I was going to like the local like comic shop and or like, Blockbuster or Hollywood Video, and like talking to the guys, that worked there to like get recommendations. So like, I saw Ichi the Killer when I was like 13 years old. I was watching, Audition and Shram and like Necromantic and Necromantic 2 and Cannibal Holocaust and Cannibal Ferox, and like literally like I grew up on these movies. But what really like kind of inspired me to make movies was when I saw Kill Bill Volume 1 in theaters. Like that shit blew my mind. It was just so epic. And I went when I was like 12. My dad took me, and the ticket taker did not want to let me into the theater, even though I had an adult with me. They're like, do you know that this movie is violent? And like, there's like gore and cursing and all these things. And my dad was like, yeah, that's why I brought it. And like, I remember I was sitting there and I was like, wow, like I totally, feel like I'm getting away with something. And it was just like magic. And I think my love for like banned and crazy horror movies just kind of like grew from there. But also like, like I'm a huge fan of hot sauce. I love hot sauces. And part of having like hot sauce is like, you want to try the spiciest ones to prove that you could handle it. Like I was looking for the scariest horror movies. Anything people would say, yo, this is truly, truly scary. I was a kid. I wanted to show that I was tough and could brave it. And, I think a lot of that I also got desensitized to, because like I do not get scared when I watch horror movies at all anymore. It's I wish I did. I'm looking for a movie that can scare me.
Yeah, I think that's the age-old thing with horror movie fans. Is really just you're always on the hunt for that next scare. That's the thrill, the dopamine rush of horror movies. And extreme cinema, for sure, that's definitely something in the last few years I've been getting more into as well. August Underground is a great example.
Yeah, Penance, August Underground, Penance, and I mean, anything Fred Vogel and the guys at Toe Tag have done, my hat's off to them. I love those guys. Jeremy Cruz, who does the effects with Fred, is a master, and Jeremy did my movie Pernicious. He did the effects on. He did the effects on my movie Bethany. I have nothing but love for Jeremy Cruz.
Amazing. I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was making my movies, I was like, I want the people who did August Underground to do my effects.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, you want the best, you get the best, absolutely, and especially if the idea is for uh, underground exploitative, cinema. That if that's the vibe, absolutely, you go for the best.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about like gore is, especially, I mean, you see with like the Terrifier movies, audiences have seen like everything, so you got to be inventive, and also like, there's this like threshold of like how real can you make it look. And I find that, like, as weird as it sounds, the best looking gore isn't the most realistic, it's the most gory, if that makes sense. So like
Right.
sometimes I have like a rule on my sets that like more blood is always better. Like whenever somebody's like, oh yeah, but it wouldn't bleed that much, I'm like, just do it anyway. Like bleed, like have it bleed more, because audiences just respond better to like the more blood. They'd be like, yeah, this is awesome. I think if you're fully realistic with that, it's a little less climactic.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the more blood the better. I actually watched Pernicious about 2 days ago, maybe.
Oh,
Just to watch some of your movies and just to kind of catch up a bit. And the ending scene with the with the throat slits and the bowl and everything, it was just like over the top blood flow and stuff like that.
yeah.
And it made the movie. I mean, it made it great, with that ending scene and stuff. But yeah, I get what you say. The more the better.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, Pernicious was a lot of fun to make, and we shot in Thailand when I was 21 years old, and I mean, it was the gore scenes. Like, I mean, we were shooting in that basement, like torture dungeon. Me and Jeremy, like just doing these crazy effects for like a week and a half of just straight like effects. Like we're just doing like crazy gore stuff, and there is still like. It's funny because some of my early movies, and we're seeing it with my movie Blood Lake, it's being re-released because there's scenes that were cut out of it. Like there's now like a 10-year anniversary edition. It's now been 12 years, but we waited 2 years because my friend Shannon Doherty, who was the lead, passed away. But there's a 10-year anniversary edition that's coming out, which includes like 3 kill scenes that were cut from the movie because they were too violent. And it's like the same thing that's that's gonna happen, I hope, with Pernicious, because there are sequences in that movie that were so gruesome and violent that the producers had me cut them out. Like there's one, and if you've seen that movie, it's pure torture. Like there's crazy violence in it, but there's stuff like when the male nurse is sitting across from the guy, Sang, and they're talking in Thai from each other, and the male nurse is like possessed by Vanita, the ghost. He stabs himself in the stomach, and then we're only cutting to close-ups. But in the movie, when it was originally shot, he starts pulling out his own intestines while he's talking, and he's like removing his own organs while he's talking, like because he's possessed, and you're just seeing all this stuff get pulled out of him, and it is disgusting. And if you look at the movie, there is a wide shot where he's laying on the ground and you actually see some of the organs on the ground, and that's because like that's how there was no way around that, but that's how it originally was. And there's a few other crazy kill scenes like that.
Very cool, very cool.
That's epic.
I also liked in that movie that so I grew up watching Power Rangers from way back in the 90s, and you had one of the actresses that was a Power Ranger in that movie.
Ciara Hanna, yeah, I love Ciara. Yeah, she was also in Blood Lake. I've done 4 or 5 movies with Ciara. She's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I thought that was a cool little Easter egg in there.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have a copy of Blood Lake as well. I didn't quite realize that it was you that had created that, so I'm pretty sure we have that in the collection as well.
You should see the new one. The new one's gonna be great.
Yeah.
There's a whole kill scene where a lamprey swims into the person's ear, and like they have to pull it out of their ear, and like, you know, all of like Frank Henenlotter's brain damage, he just like keeps pulling all this stuff out of her ear, and like it pulls out her entire brain through her ear. It's it's really wild. I understand why it was not allowed to air on TV that way.
And I mean, with things like you know, hate crime being banned in the UK,
Yeah.
that's a huge thing. As somebody that comes from the UK, I am well aware of like video nasties. You were talking a lot of them at the start of the interview. Cannibal Holocaust, things like that were all banned in the UK. How did you hear about being banned from the UK, and you know, what was your thoughts on it? I assume a badge of honor.
You know, it's a really strange. I'm going to touch on this for a second, and then I'll tell you how I found out. But it's a really strange experience, because I'm kind of like, there's two sides of my brain, right? There's the kid who grew up like loving crazy, you know, banned movies. So I'm like, whoa, my movie got to become one of those. And then there's the one that's like, we live in a day and age where movies are still getting banned. That's insane. And, you know, the funny thing about the movie is that nobody really kind of did research or understood. The world likes to look at stuff in like black and white, and a lot of stuff exists in a case by case basis of like a gray area. Like, I am Jewish. Like, I have a giant Star of David tattooed on my elbow. You know, I am like, was raised Jewish. My parents were Jewish. My grandparents were Jewish. They were, you know, my mom's side of the family, a lot of them did not survive the Holocaust. And I literally saw a growing amount of anti-Semitism online, because I would post stuff, and like, you know, especially on like Twitter, there would be people that would say like, you know, anti-Jew things, like saying, oh, you're only working because you're a Jew, and like all these, you know, hateful things. And then I went to Texas, and I stopped off in a bar in Texas, and literally somebody in Texas was like, you're a Jew, ain't you, boy? I ain't never seen a Jew before. Where your horns at, Jew boy? And like, literally, like, this is, you know, and I was 19 years old on a fake ID, you know, and like, this is what is being, you know, what I'm being perpetrated. Like, you know, this stuff is coming towards me. And I was like, what would be the thing that scares me the most? And I was like, okay, a bunch of neo-Nazis breaking into my house. That's scary to me. And so I made a movie about that, and I did statistics, like I researched, and like the amount of hate crimes, especially against Jewish people, but the amount of hate crimes in the world, it was on the rise, and especially in the United States. And interestingly enough, it's only gotten worse since then. And I think more people can see that. You're seeing, you know, attacks on synagogues. You're seeing, you know, attacks on mosques. Like, you know, people are doing racially charged or religiously charged hate crimes on each other in the United States. And I'm not saying it's a solely Jewish problem. I'm saying it's happening to all minorities. And it's crazy to me that, you know, something that had a message like that was, you know, stopped. But if you go and banned, but if you go onto, you know, any of the, you know, YouTube trailers of the movie and read the comments, most of it is from neo-Nazis, and it's not positive. It's saying that it's Jewish propaganda against neo-Nazis. And like it's hateful towards Jews, and that's the craziest thing. Is like you read reviews on, you know, Letterboxd or any of these places, and it's a lot of it has been attacked by neo-Nazis, saying that like, as a Jewish person, I'm exaggerating what neo-Nazis would do to Jews, which is, you know, I think that we live in a world where if you sweep the thing that you're scared of under the rug, it will only like grow bigger. Like if you put, you know, if you have an infection and you ignore it, the infection spreads. And like, you know, I was taught at a young age that if we don't pay attention to history, it will repeat itself. And so, pointing to the scary thing and going, this is scary, this is starting to build, we should not allow, Nazi groups to start coming together and people, to start attacking people based off of their identity or their religion or or their race or their sex. Like, we should not allow. As much as I love violent movies, I'm very against violence,
Yeah.
in real life, unless it's the UFC. um and so I really am surprised by it being banned, and still being banned. But at the same time, it is slightly a badge of honor because I grew up, you know, loving banned movies. I just wish it was one of my other movies that got banned.
Right. The one with the most harrowing message and the clear inscription of "This is what I want changed" is the one that's like been silenced and muted by that. Absolutely, yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I feel like it gets more and more relevant every year.
Yeah,
true. I mean, it's every year.
Yeah, I hadn't seen the film, and I watched it for the first time last night actually, and in terms of it's incredibly shocking to watch, but like in terms of it's the purpose of it is to shock and to shine that light. People don't want to. People in the dark don't want a light on it, and yeah, it definitely. The scenes of it is very shocking, but like from a found footage perspective, it's one of the truest forms of found footage that I have probably seen in quite some time, because the foundation of the story itself is really from starts off very innocent and simple, and then quickly escalates, which is a common theme within your films. I found from the stuff that I've seen, you don't beat around the bush. You get to the point very quickly and start on a very tense note, or you let your audience know what they're in for right away, and that's something that I highly commend you for and really appreciate. To Jennifer was one of them, Hate Crime was one of them, and then The Workout obviously as well. Like both of them have the same sort of inscription at the beginning where it's like, this is the ride you're in for, you better buckle up. And I really appreciated it. I thought it was very true form of found footage and very disturbing, but a very, very well made film.
Oh, thank you. I was 19.
To check it out.
Yeah, I feel like especially with Hate Crime, like the way I always thought about it is like it was like a slingshot, but it was like a slingshot that like was already pulled back by the time you hit play. So like you don't know that the movie's going to start, and it's nonstop from the moment it starts. You don't get to know these characters, and I felt that not getting to know the characters in the beginning actually was more towards my message. A lot of people say, why do you not develop them more? And I was like, because these are human beings, and in when you're shown an article and you're desensitized because somebody went and shot up a school and there was a school shooting, and you go, oh, a bunch of kids died, that's horrible. You're not looking at them as human beings because you're being desensitized to it. So why should we have to have something fully established of who this person was, instead of you going, oh my God, this is horrible, some kids died, we should be doing something about this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's the empathy should be there because it is a human being.
Absolutely. Never truer words have been said, James.
I saw Hate Crime, as it's been at least a couple of years that I've seen it, and home invasions, they've got a certain fear to it. You've got somebody that breaks in, you're at the mercy of them. Whatever happens is going to happen. But now that you're talking about when it comes to minorities and stuff, as a Hispanic, as you're talking about it, I'm sitting here thinking about I'm born and raised in Texas, and I'm thinking of all the times that I've traveled to more remote parts of Texas, because I've been everywhere in Texas, and you run into a random bathroom where you're the minority, and you can see that printed on the stalls of the restroom walls. And
yeah,
I've even gone to parts of Oklahoma as a 13, 14-year-old, walk into an Asian restaurant that was a buffet full of white people, and me and my brother were the only Hispanics that were part of the group that walked in, and the place just like died down, and just everybody's eyes on you. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sorry you've had to go through that. I mean, I think it's crazy that we live in a day and age that this amount of hate still exists towards people.
Yeah.
You know, that we can't just look past, you know, small differences. I mean, it's crazy that, I mean, you know, there's no difference between one person or another, but like a religion or the color of their skin. Like, if you really have serious conversations with people, you will find that you have common ground with almost anyone. So it is crazy to me that people have been brainwashed into hating each other so much. I've never understood that. I'm obviously not going to solve that on this podcast. I didn't solve it with making the movie, but I just wanted to kind of point towards how crazy that is. And you know, it's a scary world that you know, that exists.
Yeah,
Definitely. And I think that really that's where things like horror movies and things like sort of alternative forms of entertainment and media are really there to sort of help everyone congregate. I think when it comes to things like horror movies in particular, in general, that's where I found some of the nicest, most respectful, incredibly well-educated people that I've met in my entire life. Filmmakers, fans, everyone in, you know, obviously there's some objections to the rule, but for the most part, it's such connotations of violence and gore and all that, but really it comes from people who are incredibly genuine and you know, passionate and friendly, and just really would give you the shirt off your back. And I think that's really what brings a lot of us all together. That's how we found each other, David and I, very much horror fans at core. And yeah, it's such
Yeah,
a
I mean,
great community to be part of.
a lot of horror fans that I've met are wonderful. I've gone to cons before and done signings, and a lot of my friends are horror fans. I have a lot of love for that community, and you know, a lot of horror movies have messages, and
Yeah.
what is the quickest, the reason why they have messages is what is the quickest way to speak to somebody but through their imagination, and what is the quickest way to get into somebody's subconscious but through fear. You've
Yeah.
created, you know, you see, like, something that you're afraid of makes you think about it, you know, and that's why, you know, having a message in a horror movie, I don't necessarily give answers when I make a movie, but I ask a question, and that question is meant to make you think, and thinking is, you know, I think important, you know, because the real question is why would somebody do that type of violence towards another person? It doesn't make sense, and the only thing that can exist is of why that something like that can happen is because we allow a space for that evil to grow.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, this is profound. I this wasn't the way that I thought the conversation would be going, but I absolutely love it and I'm here
yeah.
for it. This is great.
I mean, David, for what you've experienced, you know, do you feel that people have unjustly hated towards your race and towards you over the past few years?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's the fair share of things that have gone on just locally in my city, you know,
Mhm.
as and I see Hispanics here in San Antonio as a majority and still receive a lot of, you know, racism and hate, you know, in everyday, you know, interactions and things like that. We have a group for San Antonio. It's kind of like a group where everybody comes and, you know, spills the beans about each other and things that happen out in the streets. And it's amazing how, you know, people are just throwing racial slurs in those fights and interactions that are happening out in the street. So, I mean, hate and racism is on the, like you said, it's on the rise. I mean, it's happening more and more. It's crazy, you know,
And
as,
if left unchecked, it'll get worse. That's
yeah,
why
Yeah.
I feel that, we have to shine a light on the fact that this is happening and not allow that rhetoric to get worse.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Most definitely. Yeah.
And I'm sorry you're experiencing that in San Antonio.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's a struggle here and there every day. I mean, you can travel to, you know, certain parts of Texas where, you know, other races are more majority, and still experience that too, of course. But um, you know, I've traveled to a few states, and you know, you've come across that too as well. But it's just, you know, speaks that it's everywhere, and you know, it's just a thing that's become, people are allowing it to be more common, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten worse from what I've seen, and so I'm so sorry that that's going on, over
Yeah,
where you are.
thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, I think with the introduction of the internet and things like subreddits and sort of forums and things like that, it can really spread that hate. I've seen, and this is like unrelated, but like, there was I'm a big football fan, like soccer, and there was England were playing in the final a couple of years ago, and two black players missed penalties and got the absolute worst abuse that I've ever seen, and it has nothing to do with any of that. They
Yeah,
missed one kick in their life, and it meant just this tirade of abuse and just horrific things that have said. And I think what led to it was just, or what came out of it was that people are now being held accountable in terms of hate crimes. And especially in the UK, I think it's more prominent. I haven't lived there in quite some time, but I know that they fact check, they pull things like logs of Instagram and Facebook
yeah,
and things that have been said, and they hold it in a court of law. And I think a lot of people that were in that type of situation, they absolutely were found. They were charged with hate related offences. It's definitely prominent in the UK. Is nowhere near as big as the US, but it's definitely prominent there as well. In terms of that, it's a sad society that we live in these days, unfortunately.
yeah. I mean, the problem with the internet is, a lot of people. There are people like you guys, which are awesome, and you create a platform and talk positively about movies. But a lot of people utilize the internet to get out their frustration, and so a lot of people will post publicly the things they're mad about, but the things that they're happy about, they just tell their friends.
Right.
They don't post about it, unless it's something that they're bragging about. But like, if you have a good experience, at a restaurant, are you going to post about that? Or if you have a horrible experience at a restaurant, are you going to post about it? People post about the horrible experience, but they don't post about, oh, I had a great meal at this place and it was a good time, and that's, I
Totally.
think the internet has trained us to post all the negativity. When you go see a movie that you like, you tell your friends. When you go see a movie that you hate, people want to post about it nonstop online, going, I can't believe this was made. This is garbage.
100%.
Yep.
It's I think we need to, as a society, find a way to shift that, where we are posting our positivity and the things that we like online, not the things that we hate.
Absolutely. And one thing that I'm such a huge fan of yours is the amount that you do for the film industry. I've followed you for quite some time, and the amount of positivity that you put out there and create a space for people to come in, like the industry mixers, like you post that every so often. Poster, everyone is welcome is the key message. It always sticks out, and I think it's something I really wanted to say to you specifically, is that I'm such a huge fan of yours for the positive message and the safe space that you really put in place for the film industry, which is a huge industry that has been under attack for many a year, for things like racism or prejudice or just anything you can think of has been brought up in the film industry, and to see someone like you use your platform for a positive nature to put out, hey, if you're in the film industry, come here. This is going to be a place with other people that are going to share the same thoughts, the same feelings, and just there to have a good time. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, like, I really commend you for that. It's definitely not something that's gone unnoticed,
Oh, thank
especially
you so
someone
much.
that's not part of like the film industry. Like, just seeing that is so refreshing. When there's a lot of gatekeeping is a good phrase to use there, especially in the film industry. People who get there, they want to hold on to it, but they don't want to share with others. You're very much an open book, and I love that, and that's why I was really excited that you were going to chat with us today.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, I feel like we have a responsibility as filmmakers to send the elevator back down. You know what I mean? And if you have the cheat code to figure out how to do something, why not share it? Like I
100%.
I like to create a space where people can network, people can meet each other, projects can happen, and everybody can share in being creative. I mean, it's so wild to me because people are very territorial about that type of stuff. But I look at it as like making a movie is like making a painting. Like there's enough paintbrushes to go around. There's enough paint to go around. There's enough canvases. I don't understand why, wouldn't you want to talk to other painters and be like, hey, what are you painting? Oh, that's so cool. I like how you do that, like, modern style. I like doing, this abstract style. Like that's like, why wouldn't you want to have these types of conversations and look at other people's paintings and do that? But I think that's also because I grew up as a film fan. So like I'm a fan of filmmakers just because they're making movies. I'm like, that's so cool. You're doing it, And then once I started to do it, I'm so much more appreciative towards other filmmakers because it's fucking hard. So like if they're going for it, it's hard. And so I don't want to be the reason why somebody doesn't make a movie. I want to be the reason why somebody does. I don't want to be the reason why somebody quits what they're doing. I want to be the reason why they keep going.
I love that. I love that so much. It's again, it's back to what we were saying about how society and the world is right now. Like, there's not a whole lot of that positive reinforcement that people are exposed to. So it's always a breath of fresh air, and to see someone who is realizing their dreams and willing to offer up even just like a space for an evening to allow people to network and really build so that they can help their careers and build upon that and sort of paying it forward almost. Like, it's so great. Seriously,
Well, thank you, man. I mean, I hope people get a lot out of those events. And, I also do these filmmaker brunches where I take everybody out to the Magic Castle and have them do like, a brunch together, and a bunch of filmmakers get to meet each other, because I mean, the industry should be small and everybody should be sharing war stories and what to avoid, how to learn. Like, we're all learning, we're all growing, so knowing these experiences, I think is the only way to move forward, and I think now more than ever, with the the rise of AI and budgets shrinking and places making less movies, is why people should band together and figure out how they can collaborate and work together and really make stuff happen. So I'm all for that. And I was taught at a very young age the golden rule, which I don't know if they taught you guys these exact words in the UK, but it was a big thing in schools in the US when I was a kid, and it was do unto others as you would want others to do unto you. And so I know at 18 years old I was all alone in this business. I didn't have friends that were filmmakers. There were cliquey crowds of filmmakers that didn't want to associate with an 18-year-old. There were groups of people that didn't want to give me a chance, and I had to build my own path. And that whole time I wished I was a part of a group like that could help me. So if I couldn't be at that table because they didn't want me at that table, or there wasn't a table for me, I wanted to build my own table and invite everybody to mine. And so that's what I've tried to do.
Hell yeah. I think you've been highly successful at that, James, truly. I've got chills. It's great. It's always great just I can feel the energy radiating just anytime you're, posting or just seeing how excited and professional that you are in terms of going through the process of filmmaking is just so incredibly inspiring. So
He says to me, "Well, I decided to have like a Spock spaceship as my."
Very forward thinking.
He's like, "How professional is he? He's got a spaceship."
Hell yeah! No, we love it. And yeah, I mean, you've got throughout your career, you've got to work with some insanely talented people. People like Mel Gibson and Jean-Claude Van Damme, Bruce Willis, Kevin Dillon, like so many. What has there been moments where you've just been like, pinch me, I'm dreaming right now?
Only every day on set. Only every day on set. I'm like, there's this weird thing where I'm able to shut it off in my mind when I'm talking to them, right? But then I go back to Video Village, which is where they have like my monitor where I could see what the camera's shooting, and like I'm looking at the monitor in Video Village, which is like kind of like a TV. I mean, it's like a nicer TV, but it's like a little. It looks like a TV, and I'm like, oh my god, like I'm looking at a shot with this actor, and this looks like a movie, and this is my movie. And like it's so surreal to me because I'm like, whoa, but like, and so I have these like moments of like, oh my god, and like like I remember when I was shooting Hot Seat, Mel Gibson, says in the movie, I don't think this is the end game, and I remember when he saw that when he said that on set, I was like, this is gonna be in the movie. I mean, this is gonna be in the trailer. Like this is the trailer moment, and I was like in the Video Village, like, yeah. And then like I came back out and saw Mel. I was like, that was great, man. That was great. But like in the time, I'm like, holy shit, Mel Gibson's saying like a quotable line. So I totally have those moments for sure.
Hell yeah. And has there ever been a moment where you've been surprised to hear about someone of that type of caliber of actor or in the industry that has mentioned some of your early work, like Mel Gibson be like, oh, I loved to Jennifer or some along those lines? Has there been any moments like that?
So what was really interesting is I recently did a movie with Dane Cook, and Dane had like watched like all of my movies after meeting me, like and it was before we worked together, but he like sat down and to meet me. And he was like referencing things from my movies, going like, I really liked how you did this here and this one. And I was like, Dane Cook saw my movies? And like, I found out later, like, he saw it in preparation of the meeting. But like, I was like, whoa, that was really cool. And then I've met a few other actors that will remain nameless, but they had seen some of my stuff, and I thought that was really cool. But honestly, the weirdest thing is I've had like a few people, like a couple people, like effects artists, or even being at like a convention, and like I've had people that have tattoos of my first movie, My Pure Joy, like the mask from it, and they've showed it to me, and I have, and I posted about it recently that I have always looked at that movie as a failure, that I just like learned from, but like it's some fans, that's their favorite movie of mine, and it's kind of shocking to me, and they have tattoos of it, and it's just very surreal. It's a surreal thing because like in my mind, like 7 people watched that movie, and so I'm like, whoa, 1 of 7 got a tattoo.
That's incredible. Yeah, and it's funny. We had a conversation with Fred Vogel on the show in the past, and we didn't. It was after the recording had finished, but he was saying about how like Tommy Lee from Motley Crue used to at parties sit people down. Like he would get people to come and watch August Underground.
Fred's movies are fucked up.
and he would tell them that it was real. So he would get like these, all these like crazy celebrities that were at his house or whatever. And he'd be like, yo, you see this fucked up thing? It's real, August Underground. And he'd be showing it in the other room. I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah. I more so have people like what happened at the beginning of the podcast with you, where they don't necessarily associate the movies to my name, but when I start talking about the movies that I've done, they're like, "Wait, you did that one?
Yes,
I've
yeah.
seen that one. Oh, I have this one." But I mean, it's surreal going to conventions when I have done them and having fans. I've never really thought like, I was just a kid at 18 years old trying to make movies and like I learned on the job, like I taught myself how to do it by making every mistake, making a movie that you could possibly do. And I've been doing it for, 16 years now. And I mean, I always looked at myself as nobody saw or knew my movies. And so it's definitely surreal to find people that enjoy them. And one in particular that I get hit up the most about is the one that I made for the least amount of money, and that was To Jennifer.
Hell yeah. And it's I was looking this up as well. It was I think it was the first American film made
it
on a
was
phone.
Yes, it was the first one. Even though Tangerine got that credit because it premiered at Sundance, but that was 2 years after my movie. So I think I won the timeline of that.
which is also crazy because there's another found footage film that I've seen called Hooked Up. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
yes, I have.
It was set in Spain, so
yeah,
it also claims first iPhone found footage.
Yeah.
And it's set in Spain, but no, it's a very short list. There's not very many Hollywood films that have been made with phones. I think the most recent example was 28 Years Later, had this insane, had about 15 iPhones, all taped together in this crazy rig.
It had a crazy rig, and they had a ton of money, which was awesome. But To Jennifer, and when that came out, a bunch of articles started coming out mentioning like, well, To Jennifer was the first one to do an iPhone thing. But yeah, To Jennifer, I made for $500.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, I just made it for $500 with the phone in my pocket and 3 friends. Like that was the movie. Like it was, and there's something freeing about that like we were able to get away with. Like, the scene that takes place on an airplane was shot on an airplane. We just booked a flight and we were just on the plane, like it's like we were just on the plane and we acted it out, but we didn't say the dialogue, and then we ADR'd in the dialogue later.
Yeah,
but it was fun. We were just going, and then we just timed it to our lips, but we were mouthing it. But it's funny because it just looked like this crazy thing, and it's like during takeoff, and we really actually shot that.
Amazing. One particular, there's 2 scenes in that film. One at the very start, I'm fairly certain you see the My Pure Joy mask in the background.
It is in the background, and the hate crime mask is too.
Oh, it is. I didn't catch. But, I saw My Pure Joy for sure. I was like, that looks familiar.
If you're looking at backgrounds, did you, in the movie The Workout, inside of Levi's apartment, did you look at the DVDs that were set up by his television, like that are DVD covers that are by his television?
Are they? Did you put?
It's Hate Crime and My Pure Joy. Hate Crime and To Jennifer.
Amazing! I love that. Hell yeah!
Yeah.
I love that. That's such great things. Like
I was like,
we're very big on like rewatching films.
Yeah.
Like we're very much like in the realm of rewatching things to try and catch things and just to get an experience against it.
Speaking of rewatching movies, what I can say is my new movie, I Have Proof, is a movie that is intended to be watched twice.
Okay.
So the first time, and it's why I'm not going to really release much about this movie, but the first time part of the movie is figuring out what the movie is actually about.
Okay.
And that's all I'll say.
Hell yeah. No, I
and then the second time it's watching it going, wait, holy shit, how did I miss all that stuff?
I love that. That's so good. essentially the message that we like to preach is, because you can watch a movie, you feel very passionate in that moment. You're not in the right headspace, and you really, I hated this film. But then when you rewatch it, you're like, oh wait, actually I missed this, I missed that, wasn't paying attention here, and that's where you can pick up things. So that I am truly so excited for your new project. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really excited.
I mean, again, I'm not giving away too much about it, but there is a scene where two people on set vomited because it was so
Oh
good.
wow.
So
I
we'll
love
see
that.
what happens.
Yeah. We had Kay reach out to us. She's working on a project with Zach from
K-Day.
yeah, K-Day, yeah.
Yeah.
She had reached out and mentioned she was working on a project as well, and that she was doing BTS for the film. I think she also mentioned that someone had thrown up, so
Yeah.
that was exciting.
Yeah. K-Day was a co-producer on it. She's great, and her movie, There's a Man Over There, is a found footage movie that I produced that's coming out through Cleopatra.
Amazing.
And that was her first feature, and it was part of my I do like every year like a thing where I give first time filmmakers $7,000 to make their first movie. A lot of those end up being found footage movies, and I preset the distribution for it in advance, and hers was There's a Man Over There, and that'll be out later this year in October.
Brilliant. Yeah, she reached out and mentioned it, and was very limited with the details as well. So I'm excited to check that as well. Yeah, I love that. It's such a, again, it goes to what we were talking about earlier about how it's such a great environment that you're setting, and a great example that you're setting for filmmakers of the future. So yeah, it's all positive vibes. I love it.
Yeah, I just want people to be creative, and we got to play pretend. I mean, what's more cool than that?
Totally. Yeah.
I think that it's fun to make movies. I mean, it's serious, it's work, it's hard, but it's fun. So I wouldn't do anything else, and those that have passion for it and want to do it, I encourage them to go for it.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm also in the process of I'm helping a couple of friends. I'm doing some BTS for found footage Bigfoot stoner comedy.
Oh, fun.
Which is in production. It kind of got delayed. They were working on some other things, but we have a big shoot in the end of June. So that's something that we're really excited about. I'm going to have an on-screen moment for that, but I'm mostly sort of behind the scenes, and really this is my first experience like working on a film. So this is it's been a huge experience for me, and something that's really been inspiring. So yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, maybe you'll give me a call and do one of my $7,000 ones.
Hey, I mean, I would love to. And as well, whenever the film's finished, I'm also would love for you to check it out and get your thoughts on it. Absolutely. So
yeah, definitely send it my way.
hell yeah. David, I feel like I've spoken so much, and I want to make sure that you also have questions for James.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were talking about filming from iPhone, things like that. Has there been a camera that has made it into multiple films that you've used in the past?
So my favorite camera to use is the Alexa. Usually the LF or the 35. But interestingly, every single one of my movies since To Jennifer, other than, funny enough, I Have Proof, has a shot in the movie that was shot on iPhone.
Oh, nice.
So every single one, it's there's some great iPhone, like all of the security cam stuff in Hot Seat is iPhone. Like there's a shot of Mel Gibson in iPhone on my phone in my movie. But yeah, no, I think I think it's fun to do mixed media and mix in some of that stuff. It definitely has its own vibe, and I've never like it's also in uh Darkness of Man, like the cat cam, like the little camera that was supposed to be attached to the cats. That's iPhone, and it's such a versatile thing, and it's also something that, like, although like we don't really know why we recognize it, like people can see iPhone footage and there's something about it that like kind of clicks in their head, that like it feels natural to them, and I think it's because it's the most frequent footage that they look at.
Right. Yeah, that makes total sense. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead, John.
I was just going to say everyone has an Android or an iPhone in their pocket nowadays. Anyway,
Well, I said prejudice against people, but if you have an Android, be prejudiced against Androids. I don't know how to.
Yeah, I'm not an Android guy. I'm an iPhone guy as well.
I'm an iPhone guy. The Android guy always ruins the group chat.
Totally. Yeah, the green. There's when you see the green bubble, you're like,
God, not the green bubble.
Come on, man.
But yeah, no. I actually, my work phone is an Android, and I couldn't figure out how to use it, so I just have it forward to my iPhone.
Amazing.
I was an Android user for many years, and I transitioned maybe 7 years ago, and I haven't looked back since. Yeah. Once I got here, life just got simpler, if that makes sense, and more efficient. So, I mean, I haven't looked back since. The only thing that boggles my mind, and rumor has it they're finally coming out with one this year, is a foldable iPhone. I've always wanted a foldable, smartphone.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing if that comes true this year.
Well, I mean, Android has stuff that's like more advanced than iPhone, but like the interface of the iPhone is just more intuitive. It's how to.
And all their devices just work together so well,
Yeah. Android makes me feel dumb. I'm like, I don't know how to use this thing.
Well, because there's like, for every option they have, there's about 80 options underneath it for Android. It's very, think of it like as Windows versus Mac OS. There's less options. It's easier on a Mac than a Windows computer.
Yeah, I mean, I've been Mac my entire life, so I don't even know how to use a Windows computer.
Yeah.
There you go.
I use a Windows for work, and it serves its purpose. Everyone else in my team is Mac, but then there's certain things that I've learned to do through Windows that is beneficial for the work that I do, which is the only good reason I've stuck with a Windows for so long. But yeah, any time I've had a computer prior to that is Mac all the way.
The only Windows I ever had was a DOS one, and I used it to play Wolfenstein and Doom. And so that's all I had a Windows. It was used for just those. It was a gaming console.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I work in IT, and the thing that still gets me to this day is I'm working with somebody that has a Windows computer, then I transition over somebody that's using a Mac computer, and when I have to open up a browser window, the X or the red dot is on one side versus the other side. It always pisses me off when I'm switching between options. Shit drives me crazy, man.
I'd imagine, but also, isn't it like there's way less like, what's it called, like viruses for Mac than there are for Windows?
Yeah, it's all built in, which is great.
Because Windows is so like open source that they integrate with so many things, and Mac only integrates with Mac stuff mostly. So they're more of a closed operating system, just for like Linux type of operating system. So it's generally better as far as you're going to catch less viruses, malware, things like that, phishing scams, stuff like that. So yeah, Mac is the way to go. If you haven't, anybody listening out there, if you haven't gone to the dark side yet, please come. It's nice over here.
It's nice over here. We have iPhones.
We have less frustrating interfaces over here.
Yeah. We have blue chat bubbles.
There you go. Hell yeah.
James, I'm curious. do you have a pre-film ritual that you get helps you get into the zone before you start filming? Is there something that you do that gets you into the zone?
Wow, that's a really good question. And the, I mean, I definitely do like a intense prep. Like I write notes on every single page of the script, and like do color coded notes for like every single department, and write out like all of the motivation for every line for each character, and draw little overhead blocking maps and stuff. But the night before, I run through every scenario of what could possibly happen, and then never fall asleep. Uh, and so my first day of filming, I think I end up not being nervous because I am just so exhausted because I didn't sleep, that I just managed to like power through. And it's funny because I always like to have like the most difficult day on my first day, because I'm like, I feel like if you get rid of the hardest day on the front end of the movie, then it's not like hanging over your head. You're like, we did that. Now we have all this, and like it's smooth sailing from here. But I like to get the hardest thing done as early as possible, because then it's not the thing that you're like dreading, like, oh man, what are we gonna do when we get to that? Do that up front. And then it's like, then you're not even thinking about that. You're like, hey, we did that.
That's a good method to do that, because I mean, you get the hard part out of the way, you can just enjoy the rest of the ride.
Yeah.
That's very good. Yeah, I can see that. You know, as much prep as it takes to go into making a film, you know, getting all that anxiety out the night before, thinking of all the bad scenarios and things like that, I would go in with a more clear head. So that makes total sense.
Oh, I mean, you definitely go over things like anxiety wise, which like are completely unrelated to anything you could have prepared for. Like, what if they forgot to charge the walkie batteries and then nobody can communicate? And you're like, you know, like all these things that you'll just start like thinking of, you know. And it's one of those things that like I feel like when I don't do that, that'll be the time to retire, because it means that I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Me running through all those scenarios and going, oh god, like it's like I get nervous before the first day because I'm excited and I want it to be good.
Right.
And so like I feel like if I don't have that anxiety, then it's like, uh-oh, why am I here?
Right on. Yeah.
Very good point. Yeah. And so true, and getting the hardest thing out of the way, because it's such a, you know, either a physical lift, emotional lift, you know, logistic nightmare. Like, you know, get that out of the way first, and you're smooth sailing.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah. And with that, you've worked with so many varying different styles of films. What are your favorites to really work on? Would you say it's more of like an action film, or a low budget horror film is sort of what draws you in?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, action films are fun because I get, you know, a big crew and a big cast and, you know, big toys, and horror films are fun because I get to be locked in a room with like three of my friends, you know, just with a VHS camera. You know what I mean? Like it's it's I think a goldfish will expand to the size of its bowl. I don't necessarily quantify which one's more fun or more enjoyable. I enjoy the process, and I enjoy what's necessary for me to be able to tell that story. And I think the style and story is informed, the style and look and crew size and budget is informed by the script. And so, you know, realistically, like I start seeing and visualizing what I'm going to do based off of what the story is. And so I just kind of adhere to, like, that's my blueprint, that's my guide. And so I adhere to that. And I don't like to have more than what I need, and I don't like to have less than what I need.
Perfect.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
And as well, I'm curious, in terms of the found footage as a genre, is that something you find yourself? Do you watch found footage horror? Do you keep up with that in terms of the films? And if so, is there any recent ones that have stood out to you?
Yeah, I really like found footage. Hell House is really good. The Hell House series in general. I like found footage because I find it interesting to watch, because especially because of the first person POV nature of a lot of it. It makes it feel like you're kind of almost in like a haunted house or something, and you can be in that moment. And it's just a different style and feeling for horror, because I look at a lot of horror that I love and grew up with, like, like the Hellraiser movies, Freddy Krueger, like those are like Chucky, those are like fairy tales for adults, like dark fairy tales. And I like that found footage is different. It feels like real, and I guess it goes back to that feeling that I had when I was a kid, in the sense of like, we're not supposed to be watching this, and so like I feel like when found footage is good, it should make you feel like you were not supposed to watch this, that you have somehow got your hands on something that you should not be seeing. And like I want, when I watch a found footage movie, I want to have a feeling of, should I turn this off? Like, am I going to see things that I'm not supposed to be seeing? Like, why do I have this? And that's not because it's bad. That's because it's like, this is uncomfortable. Like we are peeking behind the curtain. And I think there's only been one found footage movie that's done that for me in a very, very long time. And that's a movie called Reel.
Real.
Have you seen that?
I don't know that I've seen that. No.
You have to see it. It's by Chris Goodwin. And I actually produced his next found footage movie because I saw Reel, and it's he only allowed it to be, it's not available anywhere but on a random website. You have to watch it on the website. And he doesn't take credit for directing it. It says it's directed by slasher victim number whatever. And it just felt real. It felt real, and I was like, oh my God, this is uncomfortable. What is this?
Amazing. Yeah. Well, I don't believe I've heard of that. And
Oh, you should watch it.
Now we're going to be on the hunt for it. Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. And then I produced his next movie called Near, which is on Tubi. But Reel, you should see.
Hell yeah.
I mean, watch Near also, because I produced it. But Reel is personally like, that's one of the strongest found footage movies I've seen in a very long time.
Hell yeah. We're all for it. I love hearing about unknown or lesser known found footage. We're very much proprietors of underrated gems. I think To Jennifer was also on the underrated gems list. I don't see enough people talk about it, and
thank you.
Incredibly effective. Hate Crime as well. I would also definitely put in that category of like, I should not be watching this, but I also should be at the same time. It was very well done in terms of found footage. Loved it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what you guys think of Reel, though, because that one's crazy.
Definitely, I'll definitely we'll try and track it down and give it a watch, and definitely let you know. And also Near, we'll definitely check that out as well.
Yeah. Near's interesting. That's more of like it's a whole supernatural element, but Reel is like its own thing. It's you got to see that movie.
Yeah, no, definitely we'll check it out. And David, we like to sort of round out the podcast with a fun question, and it's David's pride and joy, his pure joy.
Well, before we get to that special question, I want to ask one more question. So, if you were living a real life horror movie, what 3 things would you take with you to survive?
Well, Meatball for one, because he's gonna bark at whatever's coming up. So like, I'm not even gonna have to have hearing. Like, I'll know what's coming. So definitely Meatball. I want to say common sense, because like people always go into the wrong building. Like, don't go into the thing. You're always like, what are you doing? Why are you going into the thing? Don't split up. Like all those things. And then a machine gun.
Perfect.
Like, yeah. I mean, or just a gun. I don't know. I feel like a lot of that would be helpful.
But the common sense one is, aside from Meatball, the common sense one is really good, because how many times have we seen a movie where somebody does something that they're not supposed to be doing, and they do it so stupidly, and you're like, why are you doing that? Do that?
Well, it's like every movie is like, you don't go around the pet cemetery around the corner.
Yeah.
It's spoiled. It's rotten over there. And it's like, they say things don't stay dead. And you're like, you know what? Let's go over to that pet cemetery. I'll be like, oh, you say it's haunted? I'm out. I'm done.
We'll put an X on that. We'll never.
I'm like, yeah. If I lived in a horror movie, it would be the shortest horror movie ever, because they'd be like, oh, you don't want to go over there. That cabin's infected. And I'll be like, oh, cool. I'm going home. End movie. Roll credits.
Roll credits. Just one name in the credits. The end.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, like the shortest horror movie. You go over here. It's like, oh hey, do you want to go? It looks like there's a hitchhiker on the side of the road. He looks kind of crazy. Do you want to let him in? No.
Keep going.
End movie.
Great stuff, man. And then, of course, the last question, the fun one. So you're sitting down for a movie, whether it's at home or in the theater. What is your go-to snack of choice?
Ooh, okay. So my theater snack is I like getting popcorn, but then throwing jalapenos on it. Like I like
interesting.
like a couple things of the like jalapenos you can get from for like nachos,
right?
Like the pickled ones, and I like them all over the popcorn.
I've never thought of that.
It's bomb. It's so good. And then if I'm at home, honestly, like at home, I'm not really snacking. I'll throw on like a movie and then like order dinner and like eat dinner,
right?
Like, or have my dinner while watching said movie. Yeah, but like I feel like pizza goes really good with a movie.
Oh yeah, pizza's like classic ones.
Yeah, or Chinese food.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody's ever mentioned Chinese food yet. That's actually a good one.
And I just want to clarify, it wasn't a snack; it's a meal.
Meal, yeah. But yeah, I agree with that. I find myself, even at dinner time, it doesn't matter, whatever I'm eating, but I have to put something on to watch, because it's just, they go hand in hand, food and movies. But the jalapeno thing was very interesting. So, being from Texas, popcorn and a dill pickle is a common thing for me when I go to movies.
Pickles are my favorite food in the world.
Yeah. And the jalapeno just, blew my mind, because I never thought about that, putting the slices with the popcorn. So
you put it up, you get the juice. So like some of the popcorn gets like a little soggy, but it's like kind of sour.
Yeah.
Bomb. And then if you could get like a little bit of like Parmesan cheese, you put it on top too. And then like that's elite. That's elite right there.
Oh yeah.
My mind was just blown twice in this podcast. Jeez.
Yeah, because they have like the little packets of Parmesan cheese that you could just get for free. So you're just loading up that popcorn. Now you got loaded popcorn.
Right. Wow, that's amazing. I'm going to the movies next week. I'm definitely trying both of them.
Well, listen, I'm an AMC A-list member, so that's. Do you have AMC A-list in Texas?
So I don't know if AMC has the A-list thing. I know they have like their memberships, but I go to Cinemark.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sure they have a membership too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. AMC is like bigger where I live. Like there's more theaters here. Like and so like I do AMC, but the membership lets you see 4 movies a week, and so like I'm like I live at the movies.
Nice. I might have to look into that one, because we've got a few AMC theaters here, but I mean, for 4 movies a week, I mean that's pretty good.
4 movies a week for $25.
That's not bad at all. Wow.
He's for itself.
That's $25 a month. So that's 16 movies a month for $25 total. So essentially, like you can't beat it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
And every 4 movies you go see, you get $5 towards concessions.
Wow, that's pretty good. All I get over here with Cinemark is, and it's only like 15 or 16 a month, but you get one movie a month, but you get 20% off all the concessions.
AMC, do it. It's better. It's a better deal. AMC A-list.
The only other one that has a good deal here is the Alamo Draft Houses, where every month
Alamo Draft is incredible.
Well, you can watch up to 1 movie per day within the month, but mine's across town, so how often would I make it?
Yeah, I don't have one near me, but I mean, I've played Fantastic Fest a couple times, and Alamo Draft House is awesome. I mean, there's one over here in downtown LA, but that's far for me.
Yeah, they got some good stuff going on over there at the Draft House. I like them.
Yeah, but that's also like a whole level of different food that you're going to be getting.
Oh yeah, because that's like food.
That's
like,
food.
Getting
that's a meal.
Like whole meal.
right.
Hell yeah.
And then so that's nice too.
So I'm in Canada. I'm just outside Toronto, and my sort of deal's similar to David. They're sort of just getting into doing things like that. So mine is like a free movie pass a month and 20% off concession through Cineplex is what we have here. Cineplex and Landmark. So they're like
cool.
vaguely named rather similarly. But yeah, pretty much like that. So I use that, and you can if you don't use it in a month for whatever reason, it doubles over to the next month. So
that's because they're Canadian. They're just nicer. They're like, oh yeah, yours gets to roll over to the next month.
Yeah, and then in the UK though is the most elite. My mum, she has unlimited pass, and you basically can just go to the movies anytime you want, however many times you want, and there's no limit, and discounted snacks and concessions and stuff. So
yeah, man,
there. Your mom got the golden ticket. I want it.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, that reminds me of when MoviePass existed, and I was like able to see like a movie a day every day with MoviePass, and they're like, "Yep, you could go every day."
Hell yeah.
That was before it was restricted, and it's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go, like, but I like doing AMC A list because I'll see 3 movies in the same day. Like I'll just go like, all right, I'll see these 3 movies back to back, and then I'll just go see one a different day. I feel like I'm failing if I don't get all 4 movies in the same week.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah,
but I'm definitely switching though. Good call.
you convinced them.
It's the one. It's actually, I think, also cheaper outside of California, because California, I think they charge a premium, so it might be cheaper in Texas.
Nice. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
Oh yeah.
This episode of We Found a Tape podcast brought to you by AMC A List.
Next.
I'm all for that. Especially if David switches, he's going to be showing off his A-list cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll get sick of seeing Nicole though. Eventually, Nicole Kidman. She came to this place for magic.
Oh. And for horror fans, like especially nowadays, like there's so many horror movies coming out in the movie theater.
It's impossible to keep up.
Yeah, it's really difficult.
I mean, they had some really good ones just in May alone. So
yeah, I mean, we just had 2 record-breaking ones last week.
Yeah. Absolutely. Then have you seen Backrooms and Obsession?
I've seen both of them. Yeah. In both Obsession and Backrooms.
Yeah. I loved Obsession. Really, really enjoyed Backrooms. I think Obsession for me peaked it.
I definitely enjoyed Obsession more than Backrooms. But I'm, I think that there's a lot of. I'm going to reserve my judgment on Backrooms 1 until I see Backrooms 2.
Right.
Very true.
But also, I don't know. I haven't seen any of the shorts, so I don't know like the lore or any of. Like I'm like, I just felt like I was missing some story stuff that I need to understand.
Right, and that's kind of what I was telling some friends here and there that saw it and were confused. Like there's no, what is this? Like there's no plot, real storyline or anything like that. And it's more, going off of those videos on YouTube. So if you've never seen those videos before, you're kind of going in with like,
like I need to see those.
Right.
I wish they had like released those all together like before to go see it. Like hey, put this in theaters as like a tester to go see this before the Backrooms. They probably should do that. It would make a bunch of money.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and they have like millions of views on YouTube. I mean, he's been putting them out for the past couple of years. I was watching a few. I wasn't quite like in depth. I was aware of some of the things like async and all the interdimensional stuff like that. But I saw a guy.
I didn't know about any of that.
I saw a guy talk about it and was like, if you want to go see the Backrooms, watch this and I'll tell you.
I was like, I'm not going to learn anything. I'm going in blind. And I'm like, that was probably a mistake.
But yeah, it was good. I mean, all things considered, fantastic.
Oh, I loved the found footage section. That stuff was awesome.
So
Yeah.
good. Loved it. We were big fans of that. So
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for having me on. And also at the same time, like, let me know if you do talk to K-Day. Yeah, thank you so much.
Definitely, we appreciate you. We'll link your new podcast, the Jumpsuit Podcast or Tracksuit Podcast.
Tracksuit Podcast. And also
and,
follow me on Instagram at James Cullen B.
Hell yeah.
No other social media. That's the only one. If you see something else, that's not me.
Hell yeah. And do not give it any crypto or Bitcoin or
don't send it crypto. It is not stranded in a country that is holding its passport ransom. That is not me.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. We really appreciate it. Thanks, James.
Bye. Thank you so much. You guys rock. Keep in touch.
All right,
Definitely.
All right.